Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, 25th of September, 2021. I'm going to be doing Why is Israel a Homeborn Slave? We can go into that later on in the class. Like, share, and subscribe and to the channel, and hit the notification button if you please. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, and Torah, 35 books of the Bible that was given to Moses at Mount Sinai. Shalom and welcome to everyone. We're going to do our moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, a song, and then we're going to go into the current event and go into the lesson. Okay. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and wisdom. And we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers. You, O Lord, have directed us to who you are and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. We come this Sabbath day doubtless that you will appear, that you will gather your nation from among these wicked Gentiles. O Lord, you spoke through your prophet Isaiah and said that you would help Abraham's seed, and that you have done. You have completed that promise after this day. And you said, O Lord, that you would remove your darkness from around us. Tarry not, O Lord. The latter days are here. We are waiting and watching for you. Peace be on you. Okay? Do the Psalms right quick. Read Psalm 50. God is the judge. This is a psalm of Asaph. The mighty God, even the Lord, has spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun to the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath stand. Our God shall come and shall not keep silent. The fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about. He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice, and the heavens shall declare his righteousness. For God is judge himself. Shelah, hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, to have been continuously before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he goat out of thy fold. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay the vow unto the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my word behind thee, and thou art sought a thief, then thou consented with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forgot God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whosoever offereth praise, offereth me, glorifieth me, and him that ordered his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God. Okay, that was Psalms 50. Is God is judge. It's a Psalm of Asaph. Any comments? Okay. Let me see right here. It says, that's verse 5. It, it pertaining to me, they pertaining to Ezekiel 37. It says, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. See that? So we know that the saint is a person that was dead at one time. And you bring him back. That's what a saint is. So, and not only that, and nobody on this channel, nobody now living right now, made no sacrifice for Yahweh. But so he said right here, 5, gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with my sacrifice. So that's our forefathers. So that's point blank, Ezekiel 37. So the 6 says, and the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself. Sheila. Okay. Anybody else got any comments on that? Okay. Somebody got something?
No, I was just going to make a little comment about the last verse, which is verse 23. Whoso
Okay.
offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordered his conversations aright will I show the salvation of God. And I was just going to say that is really saying, God loves um, uh, those that make offering of praise to him. You know, he loves that. So no matter, I know for me, wherever I am, I'm always giving praise, anytime,
Okay.
any moment. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Leonard, verse 22, where it says, now consider this, ye that forget God, at least I tell you in the pieces. How about our brothers and sisters that we consider blind Jacob, who don't even consider the Most High?
Well, that's the thing about I think what so many people don't understand about the Most High and about okay, we got a system, which is what a beast is. A beast ain't a man. A beast is a system. So this system that's in place now caused us not to know who he was, right? So he
Correct?
gave
Yes.
so now he promised he's gonna come back and wake us up. He wake us up. So once you get that information, then you put him behind you. That's when you get torn to pieces. But you can't
Okay.
be
Okay.
you can't be accounted for nothing you don't know.
Okay. All
So
right. I
so
was
that's
just
right.
trying to figure
Right.
how that worked in together, but yeah. Okay. I see
Yeah.
now.
That's how it worked. Once you had understanding, like our forefathers, they was all at Mount Sinai. See what I'm saying? So after that, you can't act like you don't know him. That's when you get torn to pieces. Okay. Uh, okay, let me see what I'm doing. Yeah, current events. Anybody got any current events?
I see now they got Chris Como in the mix with his brother Andrew now, that women are coming forth saying that he was sexually harassing them.
Yeah, his
So,
brother,
uh-huh.
the one on CNN.
Right, yeah, Chris
Yeah,
off of
yeah,
CNN.
yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, he always kind of. I mean, that's another one of those things I was talking about. Once you know it and understand it, you can you can start spotting it. But they was talking about how you know people don't understand. I mean, the Jesuits. Anybody know who the Jesuits are? That's in the Vatican.
I don't.
You ever heard of the
Yeah,
Jesuits?
Yes.
priests, Jesuit
Mhm.
Yeah,
priests.
right,
Mhm.
right. You know, so these are people. These are henchmen that they go out for the Vatican. They're doing all dirty work for the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
Well, notice that they priest. They priest, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a priest is a learned man. Priest is a man that's under a covenant. So just like well, I was telling you, a third of the angels was cast out of heaven. That was Satan. It was the high priest. So the people that he was over were priests. So when he was cast out, a third of them went with him. They priests. That's why the attack that's on us as Abraham's children and Adam's children is so horrendous. It's a priesthood that's in behind us. So anyway, so you got these people what you were just saying, they got oaths and covenants. When you start talking about
Mm-hmm.
the like Wolf Blitzer, not only do they have oaths, when you go back and track their history, they all Israelis.
Mm.
They got dual citizenship now. They come out of Israel, and then when you understand that, they got this Knesset. That's over in Israel. It's where they got all of history of Israel, the real history. Well, all them boys raised at 7, 8 years old. They sitting there looking at the real. They got the true understanding. By the time they get 12, 14, 15, they all out here. But but it's tied to a satanic system that's in place. They got an oath to. Then they send them out, and they got them all different places. They might be vice president to some company, or they might be a CNN reporter or whatever. But they all got an oath, and they're allegiant to a certain place. They sent them out,
Mm-hmm.
and they come around you. You have no idea what they are, and what they do, what they know.
Mm.
And that's what's going on with the average person don't understand that. It's like I said with the movies. That movie ain't for us. We clowns. We just run into the movies and watch it. But it's signals and cues and all that in the movie for them. The movie ain't for us. So they getting money. They getting millions of dollars off the viewers of watching the movie and all that. But the movie ain't for them.
Right. And
You know
this
what I'm
is,
saying?
yes, and this is something that has not just started, probably, right?
No, it's been going on. Right, right. It's been
Right.
going on.
So, what is it that is bringing it out to the light now? Is it something that they're not doing, or something they decline uh, to do? Like, because I'm pretty sure everybody's knowing he's been doing this, just like his brother Andrew.
Right. Okay. Well. It's not that it's not when you understand what's really going on. Uh, it's not even a matter of shining light on Como brothers
Mm-hmm.
because look at the image that Matt Lauer had portrayed.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Nobody never would have figured he was that type of dude he was. But that's the part. And then like another thing about it is, like it goes back to the fallen angels. They have it's a way, it's a way to call these demonic spirits, and these when we understand that those evil spirits that came on that's on the earth, tells us when the giant died, that evil spirit remained here because the spirit didn't originate from heaven, so it can't ascend. Well, at one time that giant lived and he had a name, but so they didn't show. They found out they know a way how to call those spirits. So when you understand what's going on, somebody like R. Kelly, he came out of Chicago, little black boy. You don't know nothing about that, but came up. He can sing. Ended up in Hollywood. They showed him how to do that. That's how he in jail now, because now he done called in this wicked ass spirit in him that ain't none of him. So all the stuff he doing now, it ain't him. He done called this wicked ass spirit that he can't deal with no more. Then overtook him, and that's what all of them doing. That's what all of them did. They done called in these wicked ass spirits that's in them. And that's what's going about. So it tells you that these wicked spirits going about looking, see what I'm saying, for a body to possess. Their whole thing was when the giant lived, He never wanted to die. And then they most of them lived 400-500 years, but they never wanted to die. So when they finally died and lost that body that they got from the Creator, see, then they died. Now they running around, but these folks know how to call them in. When they call them in, well, that's what he been waiting on all the time. He want a body, so he can do his dirt. And then they call him in there, do all these little rituals, which is what witchcraft and all that is. And then they stoop. That's how Bill Crosby ended up in jail. Them brothers wasn't doing none of that when they came up. It's after they made this oath with 1 minute. I'm doing the class. Why you come over every Saturday and do this? I'm doing the class. Hello? Okay. Yeah. So like I said before, you have they call them these evil spirits, and they summon them in, and then that's what's governing everything they do. They no longer in control, and they end up. I don't know if anybody remember the situation with the lady said that guy that was over the World Bank. It was like 10 years ago. Said she came in his room, and when she came in the room, he attacked her violently and beat her all down. Anybody remember that? This guy was over the World Bank. Anybody recall that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, when you go back, I mean, she came in this room, it was a black lady, came in this room, and he attacked her and beat her all up. And she said he didn't act. Earlier, she had dealt with him. He always came to that it was a high end motel, and he came there. He always came there. And then said this particular time she came there, and he came there and he came there and he came there, and then all of a sudden that particular day he tripped out on him. But she said before that he was just as nice and everything was just good, And then all of a sudden that particular time she came in the room and at the wrong time, she said he wasn't the same dude. Something seemed like he's possessed.
Wow.
I mean, that's what people ain't understanding about that. And like I said, is when you start thinking about an entity or being that live 400-500 years or 2,000 years, what you gonna do with it? It's over your head. You know too much. The knowledge that they possess, they over your head. Okay.
I just wanted to bring that up. I'm just never surprised at what the Gentiles are capable of doing. I'm never surprised at that. And I'm just thinking that for some reason now that information is coming forth.
Right.
Yes, they get us in Hollywood, and we start doing all kind of off the wall stuff and taking these oaths and so forth. And then once we start, you know, disobeying what they're wanting us to do, then they, do like they did Bill Crosby and R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? They'll get you locked up when all along they probably have been paying these women off, So,
Right. But
yeah.
the system in place, the
Right.
system is the system. They have so much wealth. I mean, if they doing what they supposed to do, they ain't gonna let nothing happen to them. It's when they go away from them, then they bring all that drama on them that they already got hidden. That's the scare tactic. So so what you understanding is, which is tied to the lesson. It's gonna come up again in a minute, but fear. So Most High said, the Lord of Hosts says, that's part of His name. That's part of who He is. That you fear Him when he show up, He bring fear, right?
Yes.
Well, Well, here we go. Like people like Bill Crosby, R. Kelly, and all them. They Israelites, but they don't fear him. They fear this system that they got in place.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So they
Right.
don't. The system ain't nothing compared to him. But because of what they caught up in, they fear them more than they fear the Creator Himself, the God of this earth. That's what happened to Israel, which is tied to the title of this lesson.
Mm-hmm.
How and why did Israel? How and why did Israel become a homeborn slave?
Mm.
That's what we're gonna deal with.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Leonard,
Yeah.
I got a thought. Why is it that these wicked spirits, when they take over these men, it make them like sexual deviants? Um, well,
Right.
some are murderers, but it seems like it's always related to something mistreatment of a woman in some way.
Right. They when the original plan was let's look at it. I'm in Genesis chapter 6. Try to stay in the scriptures. Chapter 6. So it says, and it came to pass, chapter 6, verse 1. It came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, daughters. There go part of the answer right there. Daughters were born unto them. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives. See that? Daughters and wives, them wives of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 100. So that was wicked, because they was angelic beings, and they crossed over all behind a sexual lust for these women that they not even supposed to be dealing with. So once they crossed over, and when you understand how the Lord of hosts works, and the Creator is whatever it is that you got going on, He's gonna recompense it on you. So He recompensed that sexual desire on them. And so now they became, he started out just lusting after the woman, when he recompensed it, they all out in the field running down giraffes. And it became perverted to where they dealing with animals, men, and everything else. So you say, what are you talking about? Go to the garden. I'm in Genesis. Genesis chapter, let me get it. Genesis chapter 2. No, Genesis chapter 3. So this when the serpent and Eve was in the garden. Say, notice it's a woman here, right? It's a woman here too, and it's the angelic being. Says 4. The serpent said unto the woman, see that? He ain't got no business talking to her. So he already wrong. Ye shall not surely die, for God doeth know that in the day that ye eat thereof, your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, lowercase, knowing good and evil, right? And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired. See that? That's what she is. She in the wrong right there.
Mm-hmm.
Desire. When you understand what desire means. So you
Mm-hmm.
say, what are you talking about? Well, he recompensed it on her. Go over here. It says when he judging her. 16, chapter 3, 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply. See that? Thy sorrow and thy conception. In thy sorrow shall thou bring forth children, and thy desire. See, you went right back to what she got caught up in, the desire. Same thing with the fallen angels. The reason they crossed over was the sex part of it. They want to do sex with the women to see what the men do, and that's what got them caught up, and he recompensed it on them. Man, now it went from just sitting up in heaven and watching the women to want to deal with them. And once they crossed the line and actually done it, he recompensed it to now it's perverted. They perverted. They went from that to all kind of sexual perversions. That's the spirit that these people, when they do these rituals and bring in, that's what they bring in. Sexual perversion at a supernatural, unnatural level. Okay. That answer the question?
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So where we at? Yeah. So I was looking for somebody to give me some current events.
They've cleared all the Haitians from underneath the bridge in Del Rio.
Right.
They've
Yeah.
cleared that out.
Right. Yeah. Kenneth asked me that yesterday. I went back and got that image. Let me
Mm.
bring it up. Here you go. Right here. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Say all the migrants are gone from under the bridge. Just like that.
Yes.
They sweeping up all their little stuff and putting it in the dumps. Is there some?
Mm-hmm. And I just noticed they was calling that the Texas border camp
Right. Yeah. Right.
underneath that bridge. Yeah, I just noticed that.
Is there some? And so they, like I said, the same way they did with history too. Same way they cleaned that up. They gave us something. They gave us the New Testament and covered over all the history of how they done it. That's they good at that. You got to understand that. So yeah.
Mm.
So that's one. I got another one right here. Okay. I don't know if anybody know about this, but last night, this the reason why I'm showing you this is to show you how by heart. But the average person that don't know nothing about it won't see none of this. So this thing here wasn't doing nothing Thursday. Now it says Hurricane Sam. All of a sudden, from last night to this morning, Hurricane Sam forecast to rapidly intensify. See that? So when they say rapidly intensify, that means harps and shine a beam down there and intensify it. Rapidly intensified in the Atlantic. Now here you go. Hyperactive hurricane. See that? Hyperactive hurricane season. So somebody, behind the scenes doing something to these hurricanes or to these depressions, tropical depressions. 2021 continues with Hurricane Sam, which is expected to rapidly intensify. Why are you expecting to rapidly intensify? Rapidly intensify into a Category 4 hurricane in just 2 days. See that? Sam is just the latest hurricane adding to the overabundance of storms that have rapidly intensified in 2020 and 2021. So they behind it. So look at that. This is last night. It was this over here. It wasn't even one. Now all of a sudden today, look where it's at. Yeah, blowed up. They doing this stuff. Sam was strengthened into a Category 2 storm late Friday. The National Hurricane Center tweeted, "It's the 18th named system of 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. It is one of the earliest 18th named storms to form, beaten only by last season, which was the most active hurricane season on record. In 1990 through 1920, average for main storms per season is 14. And there are still more than 2 months left in the current hurricane season. So we see how they, you know, and they manipulating this, and I guarantee you it's gonna do some damage. Any comment? Okay. Let's see what else I got. Yeah, they had let me get it. Anybody hear about what happened with The View and Camilla Harris? Okay, here we go. It says let me get it. Said Camilla Harris' appearance on The View goes all wrong. Says on Friday airing of The View, Vice President Camilla Harris was set to be a guest of honor, appearing with a host at the big glass table. Live television, however, is an unwedgedly beast. 20 minutes into the show, host Sonny Hostin and Anna Navarro were asked by the producers to leave the set, and the show was tossed to a commercial. Upon return, Joy Behar shared that Hostin and Navarro had tested positive for the coronavirus. Ain't that something? For the COVID, despite both being vaccinated and would not be able to sit at the table for the remainder of the show. Ironically, Hostin and Navarro were talking about vaccinations and the state of healthcare in the United States just before getting pulled out. What followed was an absolute production nightmare, as Behar said. Sarah Haynes struggled to find the time, waiting for Harris' arrival. Eventually, the vice president appeared remotely, and the show's producers explained that she was in the building, but was unsafe for her to sit at the table. Is that something? So how can you have two people, with that magnitude that got the coronavirus, but you don't know
Right, because
it?
if you've been vaccinated, then they were saying that you wouldn't have to be tested every day.
Right,
But to
right.
me, all of a sudden, they just test them too.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
Yeah,
when before that, the vice president coming, so you already know they had to already have all their ducks in a row. But
right.
all of a sudden now you saying that you don't, these people, you got to get them off the set because now that you found out all of a sudden that they, tested positive. It's
Mm.
crazy. Yeah, that's an insult to intellect to me. So yeah, that's some. Okay, and here go another one. This one right here is like sticking out like a sore thumb to me. It's telling everybody that hell is on the way. Let me look at it. It says right here. Uh, Black Friday shopping might be too late thanks to shipping delays. See that? So it said Black Friday shopping might be too late thanks to shipping delays. So that's saying a whole lot when you understand what Black Friday is. So they're telling you, wait now, in September, that Black Friday is a wash. See that? The school year just started. Halloween is coming, and Thanksgiving plans are still up in the air. We get it. Your hands are full, right? There's still considering ordering your year-end gifts now, if they're an important part of your holiday gifts you buy online on Black Friday may not have enough time to arrive by Christmas a month later, let alone Hanukkah, which this year sees the first candle lit on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Any product you order online will take longer than usual for delivery. Global shortages of microprocessors, magnets, and plastic have slowed production to a crawl. So, to me, I mean, that's a telltale sign that something ain't right. And comment. Oh, could you see that?
No, we couldn't see
No, it
it.
wasn't up. It wasn't up.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, It wasn't me. You didn't have to see it anyway. It wasn't necessary. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, anybody got any comments on that?
They already be out there in the uproar on Black Friday, so imagine them not having one, what it's going to be like.
Oh, yeah,
So
right.
they really trying to stir up the people.
Right. And like I said, is that everything, nothing's working as normally as it normally works.
Right.
Everything off. So they tell you right there, how long you think that's going to last?
Mm-hmm.
So,
They
yeah.
can't have Thanksgiving or Christmas. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. We did something? Okay, so what I'm getting ready to go into right now is we've been different areas, we've been discussing different things, and so a lot of this right here is going to connect a whole lot of dots. And this is what I was saying about, and this is what the Bible tells you about patiently waiting on the Lord. And then, and like I said, when you honestly and sincerely seeking the truth, He's gonna bring it to you. So here we go. This is it says asking the question, who were the Canaanites, right? So, and then it says the land. Okay, let me go back. Let's bring it up. Okay. Can you see that?
It's coming up. Yes.
You have to work with me on these. I got to work on my static, my volume. I mean, yeah. So here we go. I'm gonna play this, but like I said, it's a whole bunch of things we've been discussing, and a lot of answers gonna come up out of this right here. So here we go.
Beautiful and complex collage of wildly varying terrain types, including but not limited to river valleys, forests, jungles, deserts, and mountains.
Can you understand that?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
These lands also contain a wide variety
the
of
land
resources. Our human ancestors made use of these resources to build civilization. Small settlements grew into villages, towns, and cities. City-states expanded into kingdoms and empires.
Okay, so let's look at this right quick. Hold on a minute. Okay. Empires. Okay, so see that right there? That's supposed to be a Canaanite, right? See that man they got up there? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we see it. Yes.
So we see they got him white. What did we just find out the other day? How those tall people, blue black people, right? Hello? We found out that giant was blue black. See, they showing us they right here. They're showing us they white. See, so that's a deception right there. Now they got one right here. See this one? They got him blue black. See that? So this in the land of Canaan, right? Okay, keep going.
Well as to build and create, humanity's energy and resources have been used to take and destroy since the beginning of written history. Humans, which are often selfish and greedy, have used force to exploit the labor of another man's hands and take his stuff. The earliest war in history we have a record of took place between Elam and the Sumerian king of Kish, who boasted that he carried away the spoils.
So let's look at his map. See there? That's Egypt. And this is what I was talking about in Genesis. It says right here at the bottom where they got the word Egypt, 4 rivers parted into, 4 rivers parted. Yeah, that's what Genesis said, the 4 rivers parted. Then we see right here, Over here, it's the land of Canaan. Land of Canaan, and AKA Jerusalem. That's where the Israelites came. When they left Egypt, they left here and went over here, and they conquered this land. And it became where they built the nation of Israel is. So how is it over in America? We got to keep on pointing that out. How is it in America? We know this over here. We know this is Egypt. And then we know the Israelites left Egypt and they went to their land, they conquered the giants. So how is it in America? You know what I'm saying? Come on. So let's keep going.
And weapons of Elam. Undoubtedly, there were many wars before this that we do not have records of, and many, many more that have been fought since. Of all the pieces of land on earth, one of the most contested and fought over has been the Levant. Roughly speaking, the Levant is the land around the Eastern Mediterranean coast.
Look at this. Now, it's the four beasts. You said the four beasts is more diverse than all the other rest of the beasts, right? This the four beasts. This here. This is where the four beasts at. Right here. All this area. And then what you have to understand, right here, all along this sea coast, all around here, it's megalithic cities that giants built when the Most High brought the flood. The water level came up. So it's a wicked ass system under the water right here, all around this here, four beasts. Got to understand that. Then he talks about the isles. They go to the isles of the Gentiles right there. See that? Isles of the Gentiles. Now, Japhat, this is where he's supposed to been going. This is where Japhat went. This is where when the land was divided up into by Noah. So they say Japhat, Noah's son. It's okay. We know Japhat went over here. This is the Isles of the Gentiles. We know how they look. So how in the hell is he Noah's son? When we know how they look. They were blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, warlike. Cain descendants. Ain't nothing Noah's son. But they told you it's Noah's son, and you got people riding on that. But I'm showing you point blank. Ain't none of his son. These the people, this Japhat right here. We know how they look. So I ain't seen no black man had no blonde hair, blue-eyed kids since then. Black men don't have no blonde hair, blue-eyed kids. That's a whole nother lineage. So the Most High said, go and get a male and a female from all genitalia on the earth. See that? So we're killing all these birds with one stone. This ain't none of this. Here go Israel right here. It ain't over in America. There it is. Point blank. We see Egypt over here. They go to four rivers coming to a head. The Garden of Eden. The water of the garden. This is the garden. Right here. Land of milk and honey. Okay. Keep going.
Southern portion of the Levant has commonly been called the land of Canaan. For thousands of years, a constant cavalcade of
we're going all in. So let me back up.
Imperial armies have marched through and dominated this region. Canaan is not one of the most thousands of years.
See, that's Syria. A question was posed a couple days ago. Why is he calling Abraham Syria? The Syrian. So Canaan came in. Reason why this called Canaan was because when Noah divided up, Canaan came here on his way to his land, which was over here, and stole this. That's how Abraham ended up over here. Abraham and all them ended up over here, Syria. That's why he called them Assyrian. See that? They go Syria right here. Panorama, land of Assyria, where Laban was at. Okay, keep going.
Constant cavalcade of imperial armies have marched through and dominated this region. Canaan is not one of the most resource-rich regions on the planet, but it is one of the most strategically important, especially for many of history's most ambitious empire builders. Canaan was not only strategically important for the movement of armies, the region was also at the vital...
These people white, they ain't white. See that? Lacking melanin. Melanin tied to the scriptures. This ain't tied to the scriptures. Come on.
Crossroads of all the major land routes for trade between Egypt and the greater Near East. Whoever controlled Canaan could regulate and tax the significant amount of trade that flowed through. However, controlling Canaan was never an easy task. For the relatively small size of its land area, there is an extreme topographical variation throughout the region. Different microclimates, terrain, and drastic changes in elevation naturally divide Canaan into many microregions. To oversimplify, most of Canaan can be divided into four broad categories. 1. The coastal plain. 2. The hill country. 3. The Jordan Rift River Valley. 4. The Transjordanian Plateau.
I want to bring that up. See that? It says the Transjordanian Plateau. Well, where the hell was the Israelites at? Well, not the Israelites, but where was Cain descendants at? When Book Adam and Eve, they was up on a plateau. That's where they was at right here. But like I say, a lot of things ain't gonna come up unless question is asked. So this the plateau right here in the Book Adam and Eve right here. And then what was Cain's descendants? Down here. And then he bought them. He told them he had them. They ended up leaving here during the time of Jared, but he told them Jared is gonna bring them back there. So they went into the land of Egypt, 70 souls, multiplied, and the Lord of hosts brought them right back over here. They ended up right back here, land of Israel. Well, like I said, who knows that? And who able to connect them dots?
Hey, Leonard.
Go ahead.
Hey, is there anything like the Syrian captivity, the Babylonian captivity, the Egyptian captivity? Now, did he destroy the Syrian captivity and the Babylonian? But why yet do Egypt still exist?
Well, it's not necessarily that Egypt exists, because the people that brought Egypt into existence and all that, they ain't there no more. They ain't in charge. That's a different people came there. Let's look at it. I was telling you in Daniel. Look in Daniel right quick. Let me get it. Dang. So we in the 4 beasts right now, right?
Right.
Okay. So in Daniel, so like I said, it was just like over here in America, and when the conquistadors came over there, all over in the South America and all that, all the people been lighted up because some conquistadors was light complected people. So they changed the complexity of the people that was there. They ain't the original people, and you are who your father are. So the original people that was in the South America, they ain't running no more. Some more people running. But anyway, so the original Egyptians ain't there no more. Some more people. They was most I cut them off. So damn, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'm in chapter 7. And I'm dealing with, I'm starting at verse 24. Daniel 7:24. This pertaining to the 4th beast, which is, and we know Constantine the one. The beast received the womb and the head. Constantine came back and brought it back to life. And we've been dealing with whatever Constantine did at the Council of Nicaea, we still dealing with it. So I'm picking up in verse 24, 7:24. The 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3. So that's Constantine all day long. It was 4. The Roman. I was talking last night. It's 4 kings that preceded Alexander, and it's also 4 kings that preceded, that came before Constantine. Constantine subdued 3 of them. That's what it's telling you right here. That's how you know who it is. It says he is Constantine, shall subdue 3 kings. Then he became the sole emperor. Then he concocted the Holy Roman Empire, what we're dealing with right today. 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, think to change times and law, to change our prophecies and our book. And they shall be given under his hand until a time, and dividing the time. But the judgment is set. Everything the Most High, this prophecy, Most High prophecy still set. And they shall take away his kingdom. See that? His kingdom is Constantine's kingdom, to consume it and destroy it until the end. And the kingdom of the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heavens shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. We know who the saints are. That's our forefathers and us. We're going to receive the kingdom. But up until this happened, we're dealing with Constantine's kingdom. And so that's who dictated all that's going on over in Egypt now. We ain't dealing with Egypt no more. We're dealing with what Constantine set in place.
God.
You see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Yeah. Right. All right. We'll keep going.
If you looked at a cross section of the land, it would look something like this. Because of science reasons, the vast majority of the region's significant rainfall falls to the west of the Jordan Rift, and the land within the rift receives very little rainfall. Consequently, much of the best farmland has been located on the coastal plain. Because the coastal plain and hill country were largely dependent on seasonal rainfall, they were susceptible to periodic drought and famine. To survive, this made it necessary for the people of Canaan to store away sufficient food and water for a rainy day, or more accurately, many non-rainy days. If enough food and water was not stored, the only 2 options left for the ill-prepared were conflict or migration. The natural division the terrain encouraged was pronounced in bad times, and the every man, tribe, town, and city for itself mentality that developed, then carried over to the good times. Although their languages, religion, and culture were all quite similar, more often than not, the Canaanites were very divided. The Canaanites were the indigenous inhabitants of the region, primarily descended from those that had lived in Canaan during prehistoric times. In addition to fighting among themselves, the alternative option, which was to leave, was also common in bad times. True of the early cradles of human civilization, Mesopotamia and Egypt were the primary destinations for Canaanite refugees.
See how they got them white? Now, I showed you the images on the wall, on these images that I have. See that? They ain't white. See that? They're showing you white. That's throwing everybody off right here. And then they ain't dealing with no donkeys and mules. The Israelites and the people, the people of color that was in that land they traveled by donkey. They got you thinking that these white folks, they ain't no white folks. There's a big difference. So we'll keep going.
Open river valleys of these regions offered plenty of fresh water and food, but little in the way of natural defense. In contrast, the hill country of Canaan had significant defensive advantages. The hill country's greatest weakness was possibly its greatest strength. The geographical division and elevation changes that made the land difficult to unite also made it difficult to conquer. Defensive locations in the hill country that also had access to water from springs, rivers, streams, and rainwater collected in cisterns were often preferred as locations to build cities compared to other locations with better farmland and little or no natural defense.
So see what we was reading in Genesis where he said the river came before heads to water the garden. You need the water. You got a garden. You plant a garden. You need water to water. That's why this place right here is so different than any other place. Land of Canaan, land of Israel, and them Garden of Eden, the same place.
Cities like Lachish, Jerusalem, Samaria, and Hebron were all power centers chosen for their strategic location that made them difficult to besiege. In the north, the hill country and the coastal plain merged. The Canaanites of that heavily forested region became expert seafarers and merchants, and their high-quality wood was in high demand throughout the ancient Mediterranean. These Canaanites were later known as the Phoenicians. While the hill country of Canaan is not particularly unusual, the Jordan Rift is one of the most extreme topographic features on our planet. The shore of the Dead Sea is the lowest point of land on Earth, while the Dead Sea itself and the Sea of Galilee are the two lowest lakes.
Now, when you hear Sea of Galilee, what's the first thing coming to your mind?
JC.
Yes, sir.
JC, that's thinking like a Hebrew. That's thinking like a Hebrew. So, like I said before, the Sea of Galilee ain't just pop up all of a sudden out the blue when JC came on the scene. You got a history before that. Here it is right here. Now watch this.
In the world, the north and south of the rift are also drastically different from each other. The lower south is very dry, and the Dead Sea is 6 times lower.
Also remember this down here. You got Galilee up here. Sea of Galilee up here. You know that's tied to JC, and down here the Dead Sea Scrolls. It was down here by the Dead Sea. Come on, Dead Sea down here. Dead Sea Scrolls. Keep going.
Salted in the ocean. So its utility is pretty limited. In contrast, the north is wetter, and the water is fresh. There is marshland, ample wildlife, and farmland. For approximately 1,000 years, the city of Hazor was the leading city-state of the northern rift.
See that? Hazor. Now what? That's Sea of Galilee, and we know first thing you're gonna think of is JC. Now we see the man telling you it's the city of Hazor that was there. Now, let's go to Judges chapter 2. Judges chapter 2. Chapter 4. Judges chapter 4. So you got chapter 4 of Judges?
Yep.
Okay, chapter 4, verse 1. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord when Eliab was dead. And the Lord said to them, and the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, king of Canaan, right? Canaan, that reigned in Hazor. See that? They go up there on the scene. Same word. They ain't misspelled it or nothing, the same word. Hazor, the captains whose host of Sisera, which dwells at Hazor of the Gentiles. These Gentiles. See that? So that's the history of the Sea of Galilee, Gentiles. I told you who Caesarion was. He know that. When he came back, this is where his brother and sister and all of them was at. Them ain't no Israelites. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that history, Sea of Galilee, that's the reason he went to the Sea of Galilee. That's the reason he went over there talking about he got 12 disciples. He got 12 Gentiles. That's why they named Matthew. That's why they got Israelite names. I mean, English names. Come on. So let's keep going.
The kings of Hazor were powerful enough to periodically command a coalition of northern Canaanite city-states. There were many prosperous cities.
Amorite. Keep that in mind. Amorite. Okay. Genesis chapter 15.
He states in the northern rift. In the south, Jericho was the only notable city-state. This is largely due to the fact that Jericho has access to a significant amount of fresh water, a very rare commodity in the surrounding area. On the Trans-Jordan Plateau, civilizations, the Ammonites and the Moabites developed. They both became centralized kingdoms in the later second millennium BC. They were centered around modest river valleys, which were fed by underground springs that flowed into the Jordan River. The north of the Transjordan region was dominated by the Amorites and later the Arameans, both coming from around what is now the Syrian highlands. The economy of Ammon and Moab were largely dependent on the outermost inland trade route that connected the Near East to Egypt. That trade route passed through Edom. Like the other Canaanites, Ammonites, and Moabites, the Edomites were a Semitic-speaking people. They possessed some of the least hospitable land in the region. Because quality farmland was in short supply, the Edomites were predominantly semi-nomadic pastoralists. Consequently, whenever they could not make a living off of taxing trade, they often turned to banditry. Raiding as far north as the Jezreel Valley, and to the west to the borders of Egypt. As early as the first dynasty of Egyptian pharaohs, the strategic importance of Canaan was realized. At the site which would later become Gaza, the Egyptians built a fortress which guarded Egypt's economic and military interests in the region. After a few hundred years, that site was retaken by the coastal Canaanites. During the early Bronze Age, several fortified Canaanite towns grew into cities. The largest known sites of this period were Ennisur, Megiddo, and Jericho. The last centuries of the early Bronze Age were marked by the
What come to mind when you see Megiddo?
The war.
Right. Ain't they what? Ain't they
gonna bring everybody to the
Ezekiel 37, 38, right?
Right.
Okay. So how in the hell is ain't none of this over in America? Okay.
depopulation and abandonment of the larger urban sites in Canaan. Smaller farming villages and a semi-nomadic way of life became more prevalent for a time. In the Middle Bronze Age, urbanism returned and increased. It was during this period that Hazor rose to become the leading city-state in northern Canaan, while Ashdod and Ashkelon became the leading cities of the coastal plain, and Lachish, Jerusalem, and Hebron became the leading cities of the hill country. As the land prospered, and the trade flowing through the region increased, imperial powers began to increase military presence.
So look what's going on. You got three different types of people. The story is to tell us we all ascended from one bloodline, from Adam. These giants, Ashdod, and we know that these Philistines. Over here, Gentiles. Right here, Israelites. Now, nobody ain't told us that. Come on, see that? Come on.
Pressure on Canaan. Senusret III is the first known Egyptian pharaoh to campaign in Canaan. There he vassalized kings and extracted tribute and plunder. While Egypt put pressure on the south, the Amorite kingdom of Qatna put pressure on the north. They extracted tribute, and Hazor became a nominal vassal of Qatna. Perhaps because of this military pressure, many Canaanites migrated into the Nile Delta. The Egyptians called the wave of migrants, were predominantly or entirely comprised of Canaanites, the Hyksos. Around 1650 BC, the Hyksos overthrew the Egyptians and ruled as pharaohs in the Nile Delta for a century, before being defeated and driven out by the Egyptians. They somewhat traumatized Egypt, became heavily militarized, and their number one policy goal was to control Canaan and prevent a Hyksos-like event from ever happening again. From the onset of the Egyptian New Kingdom, pharaohs repeatedly campaigned throughout the Levant. They brought the entire region under their control, making the Canaanite city-states their vassals. During the reign of Thutmose III, many city-states in the Levant rebelled, and at the Battle of Megiddo, Thutmose III defeated a formidable coalition of Canaanite kings. The Battle of Megiddo is the earliest battle in history we have a written account of. The date, tactics, casualties, and plunder were all recorded. Including his campaign at Megiddo, it took Thutmose III 14 nearly yearly campaigns to put down all the rebellions in the Levant. The city of Megiddo controlled the entry and exit points to and from the Jezreel Valley. The Jezreel Valley, which is shaped like an arrowhead, sits at the intersection of all the major land routes that connect the Canaanite coastal plain with the rest of the Near East. Consequently, the site has been the venue for many battles throughout history. Ancient kings, emperors, medieval crusaders, Arabs, and Mongols have all fought and fell on the Valley of Jezreel. Napoleon and Saladin won battles there. And as recent as 1918, more than 90,000 troops of the British and Ottoman Empires clashed in the Jezreel Valley near Megiddo. The battle lasted 6 days and ended with a British victory. According to the biblical account, Israel's first king Saul was slain in battle at the edge of the Jezreel Valley while fighting the Philistines. According to the biblical book of Revelation, the last battle will be fought on the Jezreel Valley near Megiddo. A transliteration of the word Megiddo is Armageddon. On a slightly lighter note than the end of the world, the ancient Egyptians also realized the strategic importance of the Jezreel Valley. So they built a fortress, military, and administrative center at the junction of the Jezreel Valley and the Jordan Rift. For well over 3.5 centuries,
so now with this just this little bit of information right here on the Jezreel Valley, you got a whole nother take on when the Most High mentioned that word. Cause they don't mean nothing else. But what they're telling you right here is tied to. You get another whole nother understanding, a whole nother take on what's going on. Megiddo and Jezreel, they all tied together. So, anybody got any comments on what they just heard or what we just talked about?
Well, obviously Christians do not understand what Armageddon means.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They take you off down a whole nother road because you ain't did no research. You don't have no understanding on what's really going on. Okay. Yeah. Once you start getting an understanding of what's going on, then you can see what the deal is. Okay. So, with that being said, anybody got any open up for some questions, comments? Anybody want to talk before I go into the lesson?
Yeah, Leonard, I got a quick question. Okay. That harp system that we talk about on here from time to time, do you think that is a defense mechanism that the Gentiles has created because they know when the Lord of hosts coming, he's coming with his fury? Do you think that is they testing it now to make sure it works when to prepare for the Lord of hosts when he arrives?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly. That's what it is. It's sort of like when you look at it and do the research on it. I think that it's when they always talk about, remember Star Wars, that they supposed to have in place, Star Wars system.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's all tied to that hard. It's set up for they saying there's some extraterrestrial threat from outer space. But we know it was outer space. Yahweh, Lord of hosts, is heaven, his kingdom is out there. That's what it's set up for. And like I said before, it got all kind of characteristics that the average person may have no idea that it has. It's all this stuff is already in place and they're using it. Like I said, with these hurricanes. It's one of the reasons. The earthquake in Haiti. They're using it on Haiti. The earthquakes. And then a lot of these countries, the reason why they said everybody gearing up for war because of when stuff like that happen to their country, they know who's doing it. Just like if it happened over here in America, America know who's doing it because China got a system too. Russia got one. And that's the new face of war that the average person don't know nothing about. Let me see this right here. Answer this question. It says, in Joshua 6:5, the animals crouched before Noah. Does this make Noah a king in the order of Melchizedek, who's been yeah, right. That's what it is. I mean, he put a spirit on them to because he wanted, to make it as easy as orderly as possible to load the animals on there. He put a spirit on. You had a bunch of different types of animals, what you call them, species of animals, but he put a male and a female, put a spirit on each one, and made them orderly, and they came on the ark. And also, you know, Noah was, we know that Noah was Melchizedek at that time. He was the one in charge because of the order that he had in place of Melchizedek. We know he killed, he put all them to sleep. He didn't want none of his righteous servants to see the flood. So he put them all asleep. And only Noah, Shem, and see what that was, Noah's father. Lamech, I think it was Lamech, Noah, and Shem. I mean, Lamech, Noah, and Shem.
Wasn't it Methuselah?
Was that?
Wasn't it Methuselah?
Okay, yeah, Methuselah. Yeah, I was trying to figure out who that was. Yeah, it was Methuselah, Noah, and Shem was the one that was witnessing to everybody for 120 years. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay. Anybody else got any questions?
Hey, I got a follow-up to his question. Why do they call the Lord of hosts Hashem when Hashem is actually Shem?
Right. That's what I was saying about once that information is divulged to you, then you see what they're doing. But that when you go to Hebrew, the word Hebrew means that Ha means man. Let me show you what I'm talking about. You have to. I can show you right here in English, but you know when you go to the when you see man in Hebrew, it's got a certain little markings that you identify, but then it's got another little mark on the side of it, and that little mark is Ha, which means thee. So I'm gonna show you right here from the English part of it. It says, I'm in Genesis chapter 5. You got Genesis chapter 5?
Yes, sir.
This is the book of the generation of Adam. See, that's what I'm talking about right here, Adam. So that's mankind, Adam. And then it says, so that's the man and the woman that he made. And from that man and woman that he created on the sixth day, you got mankind, the people that was existing before he made Adam. So it says, Adam, in the day that he created man in his likeness, God made him male and female, created he them and blessed them and called their name Adam, right? In the day when they were created. Then verse 3, and Adam, now this Adam got a little tick mark on the side of it. That's Ha. So it says, and the man, Ha Adam. See that? Ha Adam lived 105 years. So you come on down, you got Hashem. See what I'm saying? The Shem, this the Shem. Thou man. That's what that is. So they turn around and telling you indirectly, they're telling you that ain't no way Melchizedek is Jesus Christ. Because when you understand how this go right here. So Shem, at the time when the flood came, and after the flood, Shem is Melchizedek. I mean, Noah is Melchizedek. Ha Noah, in so many words. And then we know Noah passed away. By the time you get to Abraham, Shem is Melchizedek. And Shem the one that came out. And Abraham respected him and gave him tithes. He's the man. Ha Adam. Okay? That making sense?
Yeah, so basically the Ha was added when that particular man became a Melchizedek.
Right. That's how you know it's two different men. It's two different situations. Verses 1 and 2 is talking about the man and the woman he created. Then you get to verse 3 and it says, and Adam, which is Hardom, the man. That's the man. Then Adam had Seth. So it's two, just like with Israel, just like with Jacob. Jacob wrestled with an angel, his name was changed to Israel. So, but you got a nation called Israel too. You got a man called Israel, the man, Israel, and then you got a man, then you got the people, the 12 sons that's called Israel. Two Israels. You see that?
Right.
Okay.
And so what makes those men, our forefathers, a Melchizedek was because they was king, prophet, and priest.
Right. They possess the knowledge of the Most High.
Okay.
And only they could teach it.
Okay. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
Okay. Right. And that's what happened. That's what changed the whole world upside down is when we, which is what we're gonna deal with. How did these people become a homeborn slave? So when they did that, and the Most High cast them off for good, they got Hotel records. That's how you get the Holy Roman Empire, because they got Hotel records. That's how they ruling now, because they got Hotel records.
Okay, one last question with that, Leonard. So that is what David will be when he returns, a Melchizedek.
Right.
Correct?
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so we're gonna go into this here. The lesson is why is Israel a homeborn slave? So I'm gonna read that. I'm in Jeremiah chapter 2. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this, but yeah, we're in Jeremiah chapter 2. Most High posed the question to our forefathers and to us. Anybody that's reading, it says, let me see if I'm in the right place. Yeah. Jeremiah 2, chapter 2, verse 14 says, I'm going to start at 13. For many people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water. 14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? So he posed that question he posed to our forefathers and he posed to us today when we read it. How did these people, knowing their history and how magnificent their history was, from Adam all the way down to Jacob and his 12 sons, how did they become slaves? Right? And read it again. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? So with that, I'm gonna give you the answer. Then we're gonna go into the lesson. So 17 answers the question. Verse 17 says, "Hast thou not procured this unto thyself, in that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, when he led thee by the way." So that's how they became homeborn slave. They gave up their creator. They gave up their God. Through chain of events, they ended up giving up their God. That's how we became a homeborn slave. That's how we ended up on slave ships and came over here and got sold for slave men and slave women. Right? So we're gonna start and read chapters 2 with Jeremiah. It says, I'm starting at verse 1. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I remember thee, thy kindness of thy youth, the love of thy espousal, when thou went after me in the wilderness, in the land that was not sown. So what he talking about when he brought them out of Egypt, and he was dealing with them out in the wilderness, they went after him. They seen what he had done in Egypt, which is like a father figure. They seen the father showed up and did what he did, and when they came out in the wilderness, they latched on to him. They saw what he had done, right? Then it says, Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall fiend. Evil shall come upon them, said the Lord. Hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain. Neither said they, where is the Lord that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through the land of deserts and of pits, through the land of drought and of shadow of death, through the land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelleth. And I brought you into a plentiful country, to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land, and made mine heritage an abomination. The priest said not, where is the Lord? And they that handled the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that did not profit. So the Baal for GP is tied to the Amorites. You need to understand that. So anyway, I want to go back up here. And it says in verse 7. So what you ought to understand about a wilderness is every civilization got a wilderness. Is when you leave that particular civilization, that geographical location, and come out to and it's nothing there but desert. That's a wilderness. So Egypt got a wilderness, Israel got a wilderness, all these places got wilderness areas around them. So you have to understand that. So he says in verse 6, neither said they, where is the Lord that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness? See that? So it's a wilderness in between Egypt and the land of Canaan and Mount Sinai. Ain't no supernatural meaning to that. So anyway, he says that led us through the wilderness and through the land of deserts. See that? Wilderness, land of deserts and pits, through a land of drought and a shadow of death, through a land that no man passes through, and where there's no man dwelleth. So I reread that to show you that when you to get a better understanding of when they left. It's in when Antioch Epiphanes came, he had already told them, our forefathers, that you can't go back to Egypt. You got a track record back there. I came there and I shut that down with 10 plagues. You can't go there no more. From now on, from this day forward, you can't try to run back to Egypt. Because I showed you who I am, what I'm capable of doing. You seen how magnificent Egypt was, and you saw what I stomped into a powder of dust. So you can't go there no more. So when the Antioch Epiphanes came, you got to understand, he telling you it was just people living in that area down through the Nile River. Wasn't nobody on the West Coast. That's how you know Negro land is all Israelites. So they went to a land that no man dwelleth when they left. When the Antioch Epiphanes came, they came up across the top of Africa and stayed up there for a while, a place called Azareth, and then they ended up trickling down through the Sahara Desert, the wilderness that the Most High telling you about. He got a place reserved for them after he kicked them out. And they came down, and they came down through the Sahara Desert, and that's the reason no man was existing over there, because nobody could deal with that Sahara Desert. The Israelites were forced to deal with it. And they ended up coming through there, and they ended up dwelling over there on the West Coast. Negro land. No man dwelleth there. Okay? Anyway, so let me pick it back up where I was at. So chapter 9, verse 9, Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 9 says, wherefore I will yet plead with you, says the Lord, and with your children will I plead. For pass over the isles of the Checham and see, and send unto Kedar and consider diligently and see if there be such a thing. Have a nation change their gods, which are yet no gods. That's these Amorites, the Canaanites, they got gods that ain't no God. But my people have changed their glory for that which do not profit. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith the Lord. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. So let's look at that. It says, "For my people have committed two evil. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living water." So what are you talking about? Go back to the garden. It's two beings in the garden. The one, the one is knowledge of good and evil. That's Lucifer. So who the other one person? It's a tree of life. And Yahweh is Michael. And look what he tell you right here. "For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters." See that? "And hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns, and they have no water, that have no water." Israel is a servant. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yielded, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitants. Also the children of Nuth and Teraphim have broken the crown of thy head. These giants, if you go do your research, Nuth and Teraphim as well, where all the council that was coming, that how Egypt came into existence was these giants that lived in Nuth and Teraphim. So it says, 17, "Hast thou not procured this unto thyself, in that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, when he led thee by the way? And now, what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, to drink the waters of Shihar? Or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the river?" Okay, let's look at that. Let me get it. Let me see if I'm in the right place. Okay, let me get it right quick. Says, yeah, Joshua 13:3. We're gonna go in on what this means. This shots that this SIHOR, Joshua 13:3. Okay, be amazed. Joshua 13:3 says, "For Shihar, which is before Egypt." Check it out. Shihar, which is before Egypt. I might be saying this wrong. Shihar, which is before Egypt, unto the borders of Ekron northward, which is counted. Look at this. To Canaanites, 5 lords of the Philistines, the Gershonites, the Adonites, I can't say these names, Gideonites, the Erkanites, and the Avites from the south, all the land of the Canaanites, and Mirah, that is beside Zidon, unto Apec, to the borders of the Amorites. See that? Always go back to the Amorites, bro. See that? That's what he's talking about. So I'm back over here. Jeremiah chapter 18. "And now what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, Amorites, to bring waters to Shihar," these Amorites, "or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the river? Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord thy God of hosts." So we just talked about that, about the fear. So these people now, these Israelites that made these oaths in Hollywood and all that, they fear them people more than they fear their God. See that? He says in 19, "Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou forsakest the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee." See, they're fearing the wrong thing. That's our problem. We ain't fear him. That's what Michael means. He who fears, Daniel said that, he was by the river, and then he showed up. All the rest of the men fled. They was afraid. They was afraid. They was scared. Just like the prophet. When Samuel came into the land, he sent Samuel down to anoint David to go to Jesse's house. Everybody in the city was afraid of Samuel. Negroes ain't afraid of the prophet now. He says, 19, thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God, and that my fear is not in thee. See that? Just like I was talking about, the melanin and the zeal and the love and all that, the Most High sent that. Fear is included in that too. Right? Said the Lord thy God of hosts. For old times I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bounds, and thou saidest, I will not transgress when upon every hill and of every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, holy and a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? For though thou wash thee with nitro and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord God. Now here we go. So let's look at that. For though thou wash thee with nitro and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, says the Lord. So what does this word nitro mean? It means to be washed with lye and to be stained. So what are you talking about? Go to Ezekiel 16. Yeah. Okay. Ezekiel 16. All right. Ezekiel 16. Okay. It says, and say, we talked about this a couple days ago, and say, thus says the Lord God, is Michael unto Jerusalem, thy birth. See this? Thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. See that? Who in Canaan? Amorites, 7 different nations, Canaanite nations. So this they birth. Now you see why they have so many problems with the Canaanites. So it said, thy father was an Amorite. Come on. Ain't that something? And thy mother is a Hittite. Now watch this, verse 4. And as for thy nativity, watch this. In the day that thou was born, thy neighbor was not cut. Come on now. Everybody online, when they was born, their neighbor was cut. And they was washed. They washed you and cleaned you up, right? But he says, Israel, it says, as for thy nativity, in the day that thou was born, thy neighbor was not cut, neither was thou washed. You wasn't washed with hyssop and lye. You wasn't cleaned up. You stained. From Jump Street, you stained. Come on. So look at this. It says, thou was washed in water to supply thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. Come on. So let's go back over here. Matter of fact, let me read that so we can go all in on it. I'm gonna read, start back at 1. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations. So why they got these abominations? 3. And say, thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother was a Hittite. And as for thy nativity, in the day that thou was born, thy neighbor was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supply thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swallowed at all. Come on. That's how he was born. Israel came into existence. Right? Okay. So let's go back where we was at. Jeremiah chapter 2. Okay. Verse 23. How can thou say, I am not polluted, and as I have not gone after Balaam? See thy way in the valley. Know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift drummery, traversing her ways, a wild ass used to the wilderness that snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure in her occasion, who can turn her away. All they that seek her will not weary themselves in her month, they shall find her. So he's saying that the wild ass in the wilderness do what they want. That's the spirit that they have. You do what they want and when they want. It ain't no order. She ain't trying to do nothing, deal with the order that the Most High have in place. Let me read it again. A wild ass used to the wilderness that snuffeth up the wind at her pleasure, in her occasion, who can turn her? See, she been doing it so long. Who can turn her? She gonna do what she want. That's what he's saying. That's where Israel is. So withhold thy foot from being unshod, and thy throat from thirst. But thou sayest, look at this, there is no hope, no hope. For I have loved strangers, and after them will I go. See, she gonna do what she want to do. 26. As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their king, their princes, their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stop, to a piece of wood that they carved and made an image out of, to a stop, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth, for they have turned their back unto me and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they say, arise, save us. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise, if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities, or the number of thy gods, O Jerusalem. I want to shine light on something right here. In verse 27, I was telling you the other day about God with us. Emmanuel, oh Emmanuel. Just another example right here. 27 says, saying to a stop, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth, for they have turned their backs unto me, and not their faces. But in a time of trouble, they say, arise, save us, God with us, oh Emmanuel. They do what they want, do what they want, as long as they get what they want. But when the Most High bring the drama on them, then they turn around and now they want him. Be with us, God with us, oh Emmanuel. Right? So 28. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise, that they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. Wherefore will ye plead with me? Ye all have transgressed against me, saith the Lord. In vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction. Your own sword have devoured your prophets, like a destroying lion. O generation, see ye the word of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore says my people, we are Lord's. We will come no more unto thee. So for the person that's searching out and trying to get a proper understanding on certain things, generation. See that right here? What we reading right here, he telling you right here, it's a certain generation he's dealing with. So when you're trying to rightly divide what generation means and what the span of a generation is, Jeremiah talked to some people back then, but look what he called them, 31. Old generation. This whole conversation, he talking to a particular generation. Old generation, see ye the words of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness under Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore saith my people, we are Lord's. We will come no more unto you. So he ain't talking to us. We ain't, whatever his generation is, he ain't talking to us. We ain't part of that generation. Like I was saying before earlier. Take 32. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me, days without number. Why tremblest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. Also thy skirts is found the blood of the souls of the poor innocent. I have not found uh, it by secret search, but upon all these. Yet thou said, because I am innocent, surely his anger shall turn from me. Behold, I will plead with thee, because thou said, I have not seen. Why gather thou about so much to change thy way? Thou also shalt be ashamed of Egypt, as thou art ashamed of Syria. Yea, thou shalt go forth from him, and thine hands upon thine head, and the Lord have rejected thy confidence, and thou shalt not prosper in them. Okay, so that was Jeremiah chapter 2. And what the reason I read this was explaining to you that how we ended up in predicament we in, how we ended up slaves over here. We ain't just pop up and end up over here on a boat and become slaves. And all this these atrocities that came upon us just came upon us by accident. Something happened. And most I is explaining it to us right here in Jeremiah chapter 2. He posed the question first and asked us, how did we become a homeborn slave? And now we see why. Because we turned our back on him and then did what we wanted to do. And then, like I said before, we don't reference him and we ain't afraid of him. We throwing rocks at him because we ain't got the proper understanding. Ain't that something? So I'm gonna open it up for some questions.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey, like Judges 2, verse 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Michael bring us out. He make a covenant, but and we go into the land, but it seemed to me that we don't hold our part of the bargain.
No, we
We
don't.
didn't throw down the altar.
Right.
So
Right.
so because we didn't throw down the altars, is this a prophecy in verse 3 that they gon' they gonna be a thorn in our side and their God's gonna be that's why JC so strong on our people today?
Right. Exactly. Cause like I said before, he tied to Egypt because he ain't numbered Horus. Jesus is Horus. It's an Egyptian concept. Like I said, the Egyptians is Jesus in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Horus, everything that Horus said written in red. And they use that same concept in the New Testament. Everything that JC said is written in red. Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, make
Yes,
perfect sense.
sir.
Right. So I want to I had just I want to read it again. So yeah, he says, uh, let me go back over here. It's 32. Can a maid forget her ornaments or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forsaken me days without end. Why tremblest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So what he telling you right here, all the laws and statutes and judgments he gave them at Mount Sinai, they turned around and taught these Hittites and Amorites they laws, and they turned around and used they laws and enhance their worship of Baal. Ain't that what happened in the New Testament?
Right. So it says, why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So that so what they was doing is using the understanding of the law, statutes, and commandments, not to use them towards the Lord of hosts, but to use them towards them idol gods.
Right. They taught those the Amorites. They taught the Amorites and all those nations how to worship their God, and they use it and enhance their worship for their God.
Dang.
Ain't that so?
So, right. So back to verse 20 then. Verse 20, it says, "For of old times I have broken thy yoke." So this is from the captivity of Egypt and all the other 18 captivities throughout Judges, right?
Right.
And burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. So transgress is the breaking of the law.
Right.
So while they're saying they won't transgress it, we're upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot. So this is the definition of being stiff-necked right here then.
Right. You understand about the every green tree and all that, right? That's where they worship Baal at. They found a tree. If you go back to okay, you know that, right? Okay. So that's what that is. So as soon as they got an opportunity, they run in and worship Baal.
With the law, statutes, and commandments. Well, with
Right.
the law, the way they're supposed to use it to worship the Lord of hosts, they're using it to worship Baal.
Exactly. Right. They enhance their worship. Exactly. Ain't that something?
Yeah. So this generation right here, this in 31, this generation, they were doing the most.
Right. Yeah, they're doing most. Exactly. And that's tied, like I said, to Genesis 15, when he said that time of the Amorites, but not yet full. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out where this echo coming from. Okay. So everybody good?
All
Yeah,
good.
let me read this right quick here. So this after all that, the Most High came with a promise to Israel. After all that, I'm in Jeremiah chapter 4. We're reading verses 1 through 4. Then I'm gonna close out. Let me get it. Chapter 4. Okay. Chapter 4, and it says, and if this applies to us too, because we in the same predicament right now. It says, if thou will return, O Israel, said the Lord, return unto me, and if thou will put away thine abominations out of my sight. So you can't come up on him with the abomination, with the disrespect and all that. You gotta put away all that. He says, if thou will return, O Israel, said the Lord, and return unto me, and if thou will put away thine abominations out of my sight, then shalt thou not be removed, and thou shalt swear, the Lord liveth, in truth, in judgment, and in righteousness, and the nations shall bless themselves in him, and in him shall they glory. For thus saith the Lord to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground, and sow not among thorns. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord, and take away the foreskin from your heart, ye men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire and burn that none can quench it because of the evil of your doings. See that? So he explains to you how we became homeborn slaves, and then he tells us how to get out of it. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he doesn't leave us without instructions on how to get it right. He
Exactly.
always gives us the instructions, and the stiff neck
Right.
of us ain't following.
Right. Right. And then, I mean, like I said before, the spirit is in Judah and in Israelite is that he's gonna get right. Whatever he tell you, he tell you how to get out of it. So you're not gonna try to bump against it. You're gonna do what he say you and get out of it. Because you know it's gonna get better if you do.
And that's the fear that's missing. Because the fear will cause you to respond. Yeah.
Exactly. And it ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. And then 9 times out of 10, that's already built in you. In the Israelite, you're gonna go already automatically get right anyway. You know, when you get to a place, when you look back on where you was at and then where you at now and where he brought you to, you don't have no choice but to get right. You can't try to do nothing else. Ain't no conversation. Just get right. Yeah. Okay. So anybody else got anything else before we go? Yeah, let me hit this right quick. Yeah, so I'm gonna see y'all tonight at 6 o'clock. We'll go out, exit the Sabbath the right way.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Long.
Shalom, shalom.
All right.